Welcome, everybody in chat and everybody watching on VOD later, to the Two Brothers live stream. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some, the efficacy of cheating, and we're going to be talking about why the next-gen consoles are getting, or the games from the previous gen are getting remastered or updated for the next gen consoles, and if it is actually happening that way. And then we'll be talking about some other random stuff because we're super scripted this time. So, how are you doing this week, Jeremy?
Pretty good. Before we do anything else, I gotta ask, you said live or VOD. Does anybody out there actually say VOD for video on demand? Anybody? I'm waiting.
I do.
Sorry, I just had to I had to go there. I haven't heard anybody say that, but hey, maybe it's a new thing. I am I don't know, out of touch with a lot of folks.
Hey, you know what? Linus Tech Tips with 10 million subs says VOD, and if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
Never heard of him. Well, I've heard of him from you, but that's all right.
Just saying.
Anyway, yeah, it's been a pretty good week, pretty busy week. Seems like last Wednesday I had Tommy Tallarico on my channel to do the interview. Gotten a ton of great feedback on that. But man, I just kind of feel like it was such a build up to having him on the channel, and then like just kind of a rush after, and I feel like I haven't done like a whole lot since, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, just it was really cool. So anyway, I'm glad to be back on chatting with you, and I have dropped a couple videos since then. It's not like I've been gone, but just interesting, kind of the way the week has felt.
Yeah,
it's also the end of the school year too, and hitting summer with my family, so that's all different, just change.
Yeah, that interview that shot your subscriber count up quite a bit. Like you went from, what were you, like 150, 160 before that?
Yeah, I probably gained 30 or 40 subs over that couple of days there.
Yeah, because now you're up over 200. Big congrats.
That was pretty big milestone.
I was pretty sure you were gonna get to 200 before I got to 100, and I was right.
Yeah, that's a big one. Really cool. So yeah, thanks, Mike. Anyway, let's jump into what did you play this week, Aaron?
Oh, what did I play this week? Actually, I think I know that I only played one. Nope, I did play two games. I thought I played one, but I played two. I played Star Trek Bridge Crew again with NLG. I played with someone else too, but I'm forgetting because that day was a whirlwind. And then I also played Star Wars The Old Republic with Brian Hill, Master of None. You should go check his channel out. He's really cool, dude. Plugging people who aren't even here. You see what a nice guy I am. What did you play this week?
Okay, so this is gonna be shocking.
Shocking.
I think. Shocking. I played nothing.
Whoa. Not even like
nothing.
A quick mobile game, nothing.
Not mobile, not online, not on any of my consoles. I played nothing, and I only realized that an hour or so before we came on today, when I was thinking about, oh, what am I going to talk about when I say let's play? Oh yeah, so I didn't play anything. So that's been my week. However, so that's just indicative of the the week that I've had, right?
It's your segment. You have to play something.
So I don't have anything that I played, but I have show and tell of something that I will play. Okay, and this one actually comes with a funny story. So I had a box arrive yesterday because we were, we've been every month we say, okay, everybody in the family during this COVID, shutdown period, we just said, okay, kids and adults get, $25-$35 every month to buy something that's just fun and frivolous, so the kids will go buy toys. They bought like these little battle bots that they're having fun with. And I was at Target looking in the games section, and I saw this cool thing, and I looked it up on Amazon, and it was $10 cheaper there. And so I ordered it from Amazon, and the box showed up yesterday. And my wife, she comes over and she's like, "Hey, what's in the box?" And I was like, "You don't want to know." and she's like, "No, yeah, tell me what's in the box." And I was like, "Okay, but you really don't want to know." And she's like, "Okay." And so I opened it up and I showed her. I got the D&D starter set.
She didn't want to know.
And after she saw that, she agreed. She did not want to know. So yeah, I've never ever played D&D. But funny story, well, aside from the Intellivision version, but this is something that I played, like Magic the Gathering. I played some other stuff that's sort of like contiguous, I would say. I like some other tabletop games, really like board games like Catan that are a little more into it, and I love a lot of video games that use some of the same role mechanics, like Knights of the Old Republic absolutely is using those roles and saves, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's something that's like, hey, this has been really close to my gaming for a long time. And what's really got me into it, this may have actually taken up my gaming time this week, is I've got onto TikTok finally, and I've been watching D&D TikTok stories, and it's been hilarious. Like, just go on, seriously, go on and find some D&D TikTokers and listen to their stories, and it's just like, if that doesn't draw you into the game, I don't know what will. So
I refuse
anyway,
to support a competing platform. Sorry.
competing, we bring the platforms together. You're on Twitter, aren't you? They do video, so does Facebook.
Yes, but I don't watch Twitter or Facebook video.
So anyway, that is gaming to come. Is doing some D&D, and again, I know very little about it, so I thought I'll buy the starter set, open it up and learn about the characters and what the gameplay is like, and go from there. So
You know what this means, right?
what does it mean?
You know the people that I'm going to be living with in the immediate future up there are heavily into D&D, right?
I did not know that.
Like, they have weekly meets at their house.
Cool.
So we might have to schedule one of these days this summer before school starts, where we either come there or you come to us or something. And because I too am a fair novice, I've done D&D before, but that was like so long ago it doesn't matter because I don't remember.
Yeah, I even got myself the rule book,
Nice.
the player's handbook. So a little bit of light reading, as you can tell. Like, I've never played a game that had, that much instruction that you needed to have to be able to play it. And I'm sure there's just a lot of like reference material in there, but yeah, we'll see where we get, but I'm kind of excited. Sounds like fun.
Well, when you pick a character and you've chosen your race and all of that and your attributes, let me know and I will make you and 3D print you a little character model of your character.
Nice. And Travis says that bringing up D&D got his son to come over and watch. His son DMs one group and plays in another, 3 hours each time, 2 times a week. That's super cool. Hey, so Travis, question for you, or for your son. I'm curious because I've been watching, some like just like introductory videos on YouTube about D&D, and So it sounds like there's kind of a different ways to play, as far as you could have like the miniatures and like have the whole set, like map set up on a table, or you can do, like, I think they call it the theater of the mind. And so I'm just kind of curious which one your son does. um or is it some sort of hybrid? Because I've seen kind of both ways presented online, and basically it's like, yeah, it's whatever you and your group want to do.
I know that there's a
So
I don't remember what it's called, but there's a community way to do it online. There's a website where you can set up just a black and white map, and then like it's got the die built in and everything else. Um, and then you just enter your characters in a character sheet. Like it's not aesthetically pleasing. It's still more, in your mind, but you at least can all be separated but still playing D&D together. So that may be kind of what goes on.
cool. And Travis says his son does the theater of the mind, which I think is pretty cool. And I just don't know how much you have to like retain up there as it's going along. I know there's a lot that's recorded on your own sheets. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see which one feels better. I know space can be an issue with some of those larger maps. So anyway,
I
that's all. It's not. We're not. Go ahead.
No, go finish. You're good.
I was just gonna say we're not like a total D&D chat here, and it doesn't really fit. Well, it kind of fits retro gaming. It's just not retro video games.
It's like some of the
Although
original games.
there are retro video games of it, but that's not what I'm talking about either. So anyway, I'm just excited to play it. I know you can play online. I want to say the website's some version of D20, but they have like an online way to play. And then of course you can like look up local, Facebook groups and stuff. But anyway, so you guys may get updates on my D&D learning. For now, I just plan to kind of open the materials, roll 20. Travis has supplied there. So anyway, for now, I'm just going to kind of familiarize myself with the content, and then just see if there's a local group that's playing online, and see where I go from there. So,
well,
cool. Anyway, that's my update of what I intend to play.
I also have something for show and tell. Actually, I have two things for show and tell, but only one right now. And the first one is possibly what's been giving me the headaches, but it could be coincident. 3D glasses for the 3D TV that I now possess. And I have to give like a miniature review here, because this week I plan on playing some games in 3D on my Xbox One and maybe on my PC just to see how it goes. It's not like movie theater 3D where you have stuff coming out into your face and whatnot. But like at first you could tell the difference right away, and then like 30 minutes into my first movie in 3D, I got pretty jaded to it. And then I went and I tried to watch a movie normal, and I couldn't do it. Because so like movie theater 3D, it projects everything like towards you, you feel like the moment that I remember the most as a kid going to Universal Studios was going through the Terminator cosplay type theater thing that they did, and part of it was 3D, and having the T2 Terminator head come and swoop across the audience's faces. It's the exact opposite. So it gives your TV depth. So you can see further into your TV. So there's actually a depth perception there, which is really, really cool. And like I said, I was jaded to it in 30 minutes, but when I went back to normal content, I was just it's not the same anymore. I've ruined it for myself. So we're gonna try and ruin some games with these bad boys this week.
So I can't remember. Well, you tell me, because I haven't experienced 3D TV before.
Mm-hmm.
So is it anything like the perception when you're looking at like the Magic Eye posters?
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by Magic Eye posters.
Like the like Magic Eye books or posters from when we were kids. Like they'd have them in like the Scholastic, book orders and stuff, because it was like the thing where you can kind of cross your eyes or and then you can see the 3D image on the page. I'm just kind of curious, like that's my
Kind
only
of.
real experience with kind of that adding the depth rather than having it projected.
Kind of. So, as you're watching the screen right now, like my hands are, let's see here. My hands are clearly, do they look at the same position or is one in front of the other to you?
I can tell one's in front because it's larger.
Okay, well, that difference would be a depth difference instead of a larger difference. It would obviously still be larger, but you would actually see the physical depth between my hands.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the first scene that I saw of it was an intro and like no words on the screen. When words come up, it's really obvious that it's 3D, um, because um, they're a generated image, as it were. But like when it was just the scenery, like it almost looked like the first set of hills was a completely different image from the next set of hills and then the mountains and then the sky. Like they looked like they had true like depth to them, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah, my first so Mike says like some of the 3DS games question mark.
I've never played a 3DS, so I don't know.
I haven't either. And I will say I can't remember what video I was watching. I think it was the interview with you and Mike, Aaron, when it was mentioned the Nintendo DS, and Mike said, "Oh, the DS, the dual screen," and I was like, "What the frick? DS means dual screen?" Like I was this old when I learned that. Like,
I mean, I knew that much, so I don't feel as bad now.
so yeah, anyway, I had to comment that day, and it still like just blows my mind that I was ignorant of that. For how many years has that been out? um just crazy. So anyway,
I was this
um
many years old when I learned this.
yeah. So my first 3D movie experience was Superman Returns,
Ooh.
and this was early 2000s. What was it, like 04, 05, somewhere in there, I think.
No,
And
that had to be because that's the one that Tom Welling lost the role in, right? Like they never offered him the role when he was doing Smallville. So that would have
oh,
been
I don't know.
like
Oh, it's 2006. So
okay,
I was close.
you were close. I thought it was
I
a
was
little
close.
newer than that, but yeah. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
so the way that that movie approached it was not 3D throughout. They had certain scenes where they warned you, put on your glasses now. And then it's like a scene where he's flying, where it's going to be, high impact, high effect, and you get to watch that, and that was super cool. And so they had you put on your glasses several times throughout, and then they'd give you a little signal to take them off again. And I actually really enjoyed that. Like I felt like it augmented the movie. It added something that was really like novel and cool. But I'm gonna say, and I don't know if this is controversial or what. I really don't want 3D movies, and I don't want 3D TVs in my home as a whole. I feel like it's a gimmick. It's fun. I prefer to have it in short bursts like that, where like, hey, here's a cool scene to put it on. Here's and then this is back to normal. Like, I don't need 3D for a whole movie. There are some scenes where 3D really does make an impact. And that movie in particular, like, has some great ones where you're just in a newsroom versus flying around the world to save people. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's a cool high impact scene to do it for. But generally, I'm just not a fan of 3D. And I wish, I don't know if I'm just kind of an old school, get off my lawn, like give me my two-dimensional programming or what, but I just don't like, I don't care for it in TV. I don't really want, I don't want to go watch a movie that's completely in 3D. I will always opt for the two-dimensional regular 2D movie at the theater.
So
And that's just me.
one thing I will say about okay, so the 3D TV that I have has multiple different modes. It can do the red and blue type of 3D. I don't have any red and blue glasses or red and blue cellophane, so I can't do that. Um, but it can also do the side by side mode, which is what these do, or the one picture up here, one picture down here mode, and then it can do a third mode that I haven't figured out yet. I'm assuming that each of these does a different style of 3D. So the only one I have currently experienced is that side by side mode, where there's, two pictures that just lightly overlap each other, and you get like it looks really bad without the glasses. But I will say that the whole movie is 3D, like the ones that I've watched. However, a great majority of the scenes are not. Like they just look two-dimensional for the most part. And then occasionally like they'll throw in something to give the scene a little bit more depth, but for the most part it's really just 2D. And then on, like you said, on accenting scenes, like good scenes where it's needed, like hey, they're trying to express how long this road is or something, or how far away the sunset is, or something like that. um they'll bring in the 3D in full effect. And so I think that it's definitely something you're gonna have to try at least once. Try it on the TV, because I definitely, I started it, I thought it was gonna be a gimmick too, but it cost me $5. Like I just needed to get a charger for these, and then I was done.
Nice. How well do you think they would do with? See, the other issue I have is I wear glasses, prescription glasses. How well will those do fitting over glasses?
Okay. This is the first time I've ever attempted this, so sunglasses.
Okay. Okay, they do look like they're pretty wide construction.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they're obviously not sitting on my nose. Like
mhm.
it doesn't look like that on the camera, but they're not sitting on my nose. They're sitting on the other glasses, but like I still have full range.
Mike says Cyberpunk BlusTech.
But
So yeah, so
are...
I would say I would add a Matrix BlusTech.
It's okay.
All right.
My next show and tell is kind of along those lines, but we'll get to that later.
Cool. Let's go ahead and do the interact. Let's skip to that, and then we'll go to the next topic.
Okay, the interact and chat. It is my week this week, and I have to go to our doc and uncover the mystery. I'm sure you've already uncovered it.
I haven't. I'm good at keeping secrets, even from myself. Sometimes, especially from myself.
No, see, that's just bad memory. It runs in the family. Okay, so you have 1 hour to spend $7,000 in one store. Which store is it, and what would you get?
$7,000 in one store in 1 hour.
Correct. And we want the chat. We want your answers too.
Oh, well, okay. So I'm just going to go with the easy one, and that's where I spend the most of my money, which is Amazon.com.
Okay, I will reference an in-person store. In-person store. A local store. Yes.
Local store. How local?
Okay. You know when you're having that theoretical ethical debate and the person just keeps on asking questions? What about this? What? No, come on, just answer that question. You know.
Okay, so if you say within 3 hours of my house.
Okay, well you kind of live on mostly an island, so it's understandable.
Yeah. So we go within 3 hours. I would say Fry's Electronics down in Renton. Just because they have a great. So first off, they have everything electronic that you could want, from computers to TVs to games, video games. They got it all. And then they also do like audio, video, books. They just have a really great selection, good prices, and it'd be very easy to spend $7,000 there. So, and if I were restricted to my own town, which is not huge, we do have a Walmart though, and so I'd probably go try to spend $7,000 at Walmart, which, because of the variety of things that they offer, I could probably manage in an hour still, starting with electronics and working my way, to like sporting goods and then elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't think it would be too hard. I mean, you can spend for $4,000 on a TV at Walmart. It's
Yeah,
not
and
the
that's
best
that.
use of
So
your
that's
money, but it's a use.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of where you start. So you try to get like, for me, I'd be like, partly is this something where I can like buy a bunch of stuff that's cheap and try to resell it? That's one angle. The other angle is what do I really need? I could build myself a pretty cool, computer and buy a bunch of books and DVDs that I don't have, things like
Yeah,
that.
but you couldn't build a computer at Walmart.
True, but that's why I said fries first.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's actually one thing that like I really disliked about Walmart in the past couple of decades is they used to carry legitimate computer parts. And they don't anymore. Like I remember buying a graphics card at Walmart back in the day. You can't do that anymore. Why? I beg of you. Walmart, if you're listening, you're not, because there's 3 people in chat. But why don't you sell computer parts anymore? Also, Radio Shack, why'd you have to go bankrupt? What gives? I have no place to get my capacitors or my diodes or any of my momentary switches. What gives?
The internet.
Yes, but I can't drive to the internet and be like, hey, give me that 5-cent capacitor.
Oh, just wait.
Yes, Amazon drones will solve everything. More than you know.
Yeah. Mike would go to Best Buy and buy all the games and TVs that he can get. Travis is buying carpet. Is that correct, Travis?
Carpet.
Hey, actually, that's not.
It's not a bad.
That'd probably be the answer that my wife would want me to give. Is I'm going to go replace the flooring in our kitchen. So that's probably the right answer.
Yeah, okay, so I was gonna go the like, yeah, I could totally build like a whole gaming rig setup, like gaming editing for like the next 15 years applicable setup at like Best Buy or something, because like, I don't have any cool electronic stores around me because I'm on the East Coast. So like I don't get Micro Center or like a local Newegg distributor or any of that over here, and it's dumb. But you're right. Like I am planning on building a house. $7,000 is 90% of my second floor's subfloor. That's what that represents. So I'd have to go with Home Depot.
There you go.
That is a very good point.
And Travis, I think he says too much competition. I'm guessing that's in reference to Radio Shack.
Yeah, probably.
And he is gearing up for a major remodel, so that is what's on his mind. Yep. Getting that carpet paid for.
It's a good mindset to have, because like here we're all talking about wasting money on electronics that are going to be out of date in 10 years. You're talking about investing into your home. Like, well played. Look who's the adult here.
Mike says he'd still get games.
Hey, you can still buy gaming related stuff at Home Depot. It exists. I assure you.
Sure, yeah. All right.
You want to build that game room that you wanted? Half of the desks on YouTube that you see in YouTube gamers setups, they're butcher blocks from Home Depot.
Oh, cool. All right.
So there you go.
So I'm gonna move to the next topic, which is cheats. Cheats and cheat hacks and tricky playing.
You should never cheat on your partner. That's just wrong.
So the overarching question here is just kind of gauging folks' comfortability or comfort level with cheats in video games. Travis says, "Sorry, I'm not really a retro gamer. I am the target audience for the Amico. The last console I bought was a Wii." Hey, that's totally cool. The Wii
Not
is
a retro gamer.
okay. I do have an
Not one.
Xbox. So, but aside from Xbox and
Xbox
all the
what?
Xboxes,
Yeah, Xbox what?
besides my current Xbox and all the other Xboxes I've had, the Wii was the last one I bought. So that sounds not very cool. I can't really connect with you, Travis. I'm sorry. um, I like to say, yeah, the Wii's the last one I bought, but I did buy those Xboxes. Okay. So, talking about cheats in video games, just kind of want to have a conversation about what's your comfort level with cheats. You know, what do you feel about them? So, like, we grew up, we had the Game Genie on our Nintendo, and so you have that level of cheats, right? Where the Game Genie, depending on the game, you can get yourself some extra lives, you can change your stats, you can get invincibility, you can skip levels. So there's a lot of things you could do with that, but then you talk to your friends about Game Genie, or you bring it up on a forum, or on a post, and then everybody just piles on you and says, "Oh, you're a filthy cheater, you didn't play the real game, you're not a gamer." And so I just kind of wanted to throw that out to you and just say, hey, what do you think about using cheats in games? And I've got more to say, but I kind of want to throw that much out to you and just kind of get your initial thoughts.
Okay.
Hey, Travis, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you.
So my initial thoughts, I gotta click send because I forgot to last time I tried to talk to Travis, and then I just deleted it because it took too long. So my thoughts on cheating have changed over the years, because like back in the day, my thoughts on cheating were, well, as long as it's in a single player game, whatever. And then like it morphed into sort of a, who cares? It's a game. You want to cheat? Go ahead. Single player, multiplayer, whatever. I don't care. It's not affecting me. It's 10 minutes of my life, whatever. I don't care. But now, like, honestly, I think cheating just ruins the gaming experience because it eliminates the replayability for the vast majority of games. Like, or not the replayability, the longevity, like the shelf life of a game. Because like, it's not quite the same thing, but I ran my own Arc server for a while, and like it was great. I got to do everything I wanted. I was the admin, so I could use the admin console, and I could bring anything into the game I wanted to. I could do anything I wanted to. I set myself limits, but like a couple weeks in, I was done because like I'd done everything. I had literally done everything in the game in a couple of weeks. And so that just killed the content for me. So like now I refuse to cheat in even a single player game because I just know that it's going to ruin the content for me.
So is this in games that are more like story driven, like where once you've kind of gone through, you know what's going to happen, the story, and that's what you would be playing for?
No, games that are more like open world or more open ended. Like if it's a story driven game, it might be different in my mind. Like if I just want to play a game but only play the game for the story, then sure, maybe I'll turn on the cheats, but it's not something that I really think about because if I want to play a story driven game, I'll play something like Hitman and I'll do the same mission over and over again back to back like 40 times to try to get through it perfectly.
Okay.
Instead of enabling a cheat. And there's one in particular for Hitman, for Xbox One, the Hitman 1, which is not Hitman 1, but it's Hitman 1. There's one particular mission that is just freaking impossible to do and get the ultimate achievements for. I have tried at least 150 times. And like we're talking over an hour each attempt because I'm
Wow.
going so slow. I'm trying to be stealthy, and like one of the key victories in that game is doing a whole mission in your original, assassin suit without
Hmm.
changing into a disguise or anything. And doing that plus being undetected and not leaving any casualties, only hitting your marks, doing all of those major ones in the same mission on this particular mission is an absolute beep.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point too, is you get that immense satisfaction when you do just truly beat something on your own. And that is something that you lose when you do, employ a cheat. I will say a couple of lines that I've drawn. First off, I feel like if you employ any sort of cheat in multiplayer, where you're versus somebody else in any situation, and you're applying a cheat that they don't have access to, I just feel like that's in poor taste, and I'm not in favor of using it in that way. Um, if it's a solo game, I don't really care what you do, honestly. For myself, if it's my own games, I prefer I prefer cheats that help like even the playing field. Where okay, maybe you have a game that's just insanely difficult, and everybody kind of recognize the difficulty is crazy, right? So you take like Contra on the original Nintendo, right? So Contra is a fun game. It's got great gameplay, but you die a lot. Okay, and if you're gonna go through, you get like your 3 lives, and you die on any like bullet impact. So the Konami code gave you 30 lives. Okay, and using the Konami code to get the 30 lives enabled a lot of players to actually finish the game. And so that's the type of code that I'm totally okay with. Like I really like the extra life thing because I feel like that's one of the huge things when people talk about like Nintendo difficult or like NES difficulty. Really, it came down to like you can die right away in a lot of ways. So I feel like the extra lives cheat helps to kind of offset that difficulty and says, hey, you know what? Yes, I'm going to keep dying, but I'm still going to have to like accomplish the task. And so, like, I feel like that's just kind of a way to even things up for the end user. Um, and I don't mind, some of the things like level skipping is kind of cool, like especially for older games that don't have save states or any way to save your game. Like, hey, I played through level 5 and it's been an hour and a half and I'm being called to dinner. I literally, there's nothing I can do unless I leave the Nintendo on all night. Like,
Right.
and so like that being able to like jump back in where you want is kind of cool. An interesting one. So a game that we've both played. Here's a scenario I can give you and get your take. So Final Fantasy VIII. Okay, we've both played that. We both love it. I recently downloaded the version on Steam
Okay.
and started a playthrough. And then I noticed on the menu screen it said cheats, and I was like, "Whoa, hey, what's here?" And so they let you apply a cheat
Bastard.
that when you draw like once you've drawn a magic,
Mm-hmm.
that you can fill it completely with this cheat. Okay, so and this is a cheat that I actually really appreciate. Is the type of cheat in some of these really long drawn out games that all it does is cuts out repetitive and joyless like grinding. Okay, and so like there is no reason for me to have to like go into a battle and draw 100 fires and then 100 cures, and then like there is no reason for me to have to go and do that. I can go draw one for each of my players. I go back out to the main menu, I say fill, and now like I just save myself like so much time of not having to sit in this battle screen and just continuously repetitively draw magic. Like I think that was like almost a fix for the game. And I get like, okay, it does make your players like a little bit OP when you're able to do that. but it's also something that, like, yes, I can do it. It takes no skill to do it. All it takes is time, and time is one of the, hardest resources for a modern gamer to get. So if you can take out something repetitive like that so that I can skip to the actual gameplay, I'm completely in favor of that. And I think it was an amazing feature to add to this, because they don't have an extensive list of cheats that are embedded in the game there, but it was built right in. It's not like I had to go add something or, hack it or anything like that. So I really like that. So I want to hear your take on that. What do you think about that application to Final Fantasy VIII?
I have one question before I begin. Would you have wanted to play the game for the first time like that? And I don't mean for the first time now. I mean for the first time when you played it for the first time.
When I played it for the first time, that's a really good question. I will answer it with another question. Do you think I would have enjoyed finishing the game the first time? Because I never did.
Yeah, I don't think.
And I wonder. And I wonder if I had saved all the time on the front end of all the, all this, like, drawing all these spells, because, like, when you take all the spells, and I can't remember how many there are, but I think there's at least a dozen in the game, if I'm remembering right, or more. I think there are more.
Okay, but
you have to draw all those, and if you're going to max things out, you've got to draw 100 of each for each of your characters, and you get so many characters by the end. Like, this is hours of grinding,
right,
just to fill the magic.
Who maxed out all of them intentionally during their first playthrough or their core playthrough? Did you not read the manual? Like, it explicitly says you do not have to do that.
Well, certainly there were some that, that were more powerful than others, but all the ones that were core, like, I'm sitting there grinding those, and it's a long time, even if you cut them in half or a third.
That's true, but think of it this way. I'll counter your counter. Would you having beaten the game the first time through, would you still have that drive and that passion to play it today if you had beat it the first time through? Or would it have sat in the back of your mind for years, knowing that you hadn't finished it and that you want to finish it, and that's what built up the love of the game for you?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Like, I've had a lot of games that I beat that I still replay. I beat Knights of the Old Republic. I can't tell you how many times I've played it a lot on a lot of different platforms, and my love of it has not been diminished by finishing it. And I've played it with different like cheats and level skips in subsequent games, where, like, sometimes I'll skip the whole beginning with Terrace and stuff, so that you can kind of start on the Dantooine and get your lightsaber right away. Anyway, it's just I don't think that it would diminish my wanting to play Final Fantasy VIII now, even if I had just finished it before, because I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the story. The gameplay is great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
I don't know that having already beaten it, I would probably use the cheat now. That being said, I would not have used it on my first playthrough. Because for me, that is a grindy thing. That experience is certainly a grindy thing, but there's a difference between me and most other gamers that I talk with. Most other gamers have never had the ability to sink as many hours into a single game as I have. And when you've sunk 30,000 hours into one game, repeating something for, 8 hours across an entire game is okay. That's 8, not 30,000. So I don't really have as big a problem with that.
So Mike says he doesn't cheat on the first play, but he does want to cheat on Xenosaga 2. Effing hate those boss battles. And you brought up, Mike, you brought up Triple Triad, the card game from Final Fantasy VIII. That is an amazing game. That's what I prefer to spend my time doing. I will grind the card game to no end, but it's enjoyable. It's not like just this repetitive drawing, magic out of the enemies.
I have a real question.
Yeah.
Square Enix, where's our mobile game? Our mobile card game from Final Fantasy VIII. Where is it? Right, come on. Come on.
You can get one. It's on iTunes or the Apple Store.
Boo. But is it made by Square Enix? Is it made by the right people? Because if it's a knockoff, no one wants it.
Well, let's see.
While you figure that out, I'm gonna move on to one of our other topics because this is actually.
I'm just gonna say here's the main screen for it. But let me see.
So, on a slightly different topic, but kind of the same, there is a new, Mike, you'll be interested in this. There is a new PS2 homebrew method for non-hacked and non-modified systems. It's completely software. It was found inside of the DVD-ROM boot up sequence. So when you put a DVD into any PlayStation 2, all of them have this flaw. There is a program that you can put on your DVD that will allow you to run any homebrew that was made for the PS2. Literally anything. Just by putting a DVD in. No hardware needed. No software uploading. No nothing. Just burn DVD straight in, and you can run anything that's homebrewed for the PS2 off that disc. If you want a link later, Mike, I will message it to you. I can't see that, man. That's too small.
You can't see that? Okay, so this is the Final Fantasy Portal app. It is by Square Enix.
Okay.
And when you click the button in the corner, you see their logo come up, and then it's going to load Triple Triad. So the first one I showed you is a knockoff.
Oh, okay. See,
but this one is actually by. This one's actually by Square Enix, nice. And it's going to load here momentarily. So I'll show you the screen.
And actually, I'm going to put a link to the PlayStation 2 homebrew method, and I'm going to put that in the description as well, because it seems like something that I should put in the description.
Cool.
Anyway, I know you just got a modded PS2 mic, but your mod only goes so far. Hardware mods only go so far. Eventually, you're going to find some homebrew that you can't run on that mod, but now you can, because all you need is a DVD burner. But it's 2020 and nobody has DVD burners in their computers anymore. Never mind. Argument superfluous. You were saying, Jeremy.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say the other side of the cheats is like on, and this is kind of going back to Game Genie era, and kind of the other side of it is sometimes they would just unlock things that were fun. Like where you could moonwalk, where it would make your player like it would reverse the D-pad controls, and other ones it would let you like super float or like slowly descend from the sky or like change different colors on the screen. There were just some things you could do that would make the game fun and different, and I kind of got that too. Like that's kind of a fun way to like extend the gameplay or experience it a little differently. You could actually make things harder in some games, and I never got that one. I don't think in my life I've ever wanted a game to be harder than it was.
Well, see, I think
that's just me.
I think there's a way to put Easter eggs in a game without making them cheats. Like, I think one of the best implementations in Easter eggs that affect gameplay, I mean specifically, I think one of the best implementations that's ever been done of this was in the Halo series. The skulls that you can pick up. So you've got one that makes when you headshot grunts, it makes them do confetti and do the hey or the hooray music noise. And then you've got ones that can shut off your HUD and ones that make it so your shields don't regenerate. And you only have half as many bullets in each clip, and you can only have half as much, or your enemies are twice as hard to kill, etc. That was one of the best implementations because you had to go around the map looking for a tiny little skull in some obscure area of the map that you probably wouldn't have gone to otherwise. Find it, and then next time you play the game, you can click that option to use that option. That's cool because it's kind of a cheat, it's kind of a hack, but it's not.
Now, Mike, I'll say, he says, they used the cheats and they still couldn't beat the final boss, and I say that's the worst when you cheat and you still can't win. That's rock bottom, man.
How about penalties for cheating? Like a lot of games, if you enter, well, sorry, not now, but back in the day, a lot of games, if you entered a cheat code, nothing you did would register as you completing anything in the game.
Interesting. Yeah, I know. Like there are certain games that they'll disable achievements. I know, like on Nice Old Republic, if you applied a cheat, it would just say on the save, it would say cheat used. And that's things like things I would do with that is like start the game with a lightsaber, because that's one of my least favorite things is waiting until you like earn it, and it's like 4 hours into the game. So things like that. So you get the little cheat mark. I remember even back as far as like SimCity Classic on the DOS, when you type in funds, FUNDS, if you do it too many times in a row, there's an earthquake, and they just start tearing apart your stuff, So they've even where they've implemented it, they've kind of put in some counterbalances like that in certain games.
So as we're coming up on our hour here pretty soon, I'm gonna go quick and go through some of the tech blurbs. So it is now confirmed that the Xbox Series S will have the same CPU as the Xbox Series X, just at a lower clocked frequency. It is also confirmed that it will have less memory, and it will have 7.5 gigabytes of usable memory, not storage, but RAM. And it will also have a lesser graphics chip.
I'm not keeping them straight in my mind. Is this better? So is this slightly worse than the new upcoming Xbox console, or slightly worse than the current top Xbox console?
Both.
It's slightly worse than both.
Technically speaking, yes.
Okay. So at this point, if you buy the so you're better off just buying the Xbox One X at this point.
Yeah, buy the socks.
Than
the XOX, yes.
Okay. Buy that rather than the Lockhart.
Yeah, if you're absolute dead set on buying something, buy a used Xbox One X. If you're dead set on buying something and not buying the Xbox Series X, because Lockhart's going to be a joke. Which kind of brings me into the next, segues me into the next subject that I had, which is why games are being remastered for the next gen. Okay. Public service announcement. They're not. Okay? None of these games are getting remastered or redone. These are fancy buzzwords that companies throw out there. It's all a load of you know what. Because I'll give you a little story here. The Xbox One and the PS4, the launch consoles, the originals, and all of the consoles after them run on something that is called x86 architecture, which means, for all intensive purposes, they are all PCs. They are all computers. They run the exact same architecture. And guess what? The next gen all runs x86 architecture. Do you know what all this means? This all means one simple thing. You run almost an identical copy, albeit stripped down, of a game that a gaming PC runs. So do you know what the Xbox Series X is getting? It is getting a more computer-like version of that same game. They're just bringing the graphics sliders up. That's all they're doing. There's no remastering, there's no redoing the content, there's no nothing. They're literally checking a different checkbox in the settings and then republishing the game. It's a ripoff. You're all being lied to, and it's a ripoff. That's my conspiracy nut jargon for the day.
Travis says, I can't wait until I can say that about the Amico. And I think that's about the Travis, are you referring to my comment about how many games you own digitally? Just curious. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Too invested. Yeah, I'm actually excited for that. But the nice thing is, like, so I look at it. So a full price new game. Okay, I bought a couple of those on the Xbox. And so I've got like a $60 value game or more sitting on this digital platform, right? $60 in Intellivision Amico language. You're looking at games now. Tommy did clarify that $2.99 is not likely to be a game price, but more of like an app. So he said, something in like the $5 to $9 range. So even if we say,
that's still
you split the difference,
6 to 12 games or 6 to 20 games,
right? It's still $60. $60 is still buying you, up to like 12 games, 6 to 12 games, which is still a huge amount like of value that you get for that. So for that one game that I play for however long, it was, I can now buy 6 to 12 on the Amico. It's just such a different ecosystem. And I am looking forward to that to see what it's like. But at that price point, it's almost worth it to just buy everything that comes out just to try it and see what it's like. And well, by golly, if you spend an hour on it and you figure out it sucks, you were only out $5 or $10. And how many things do you pay for that cost way more than that? Hello, movies. How many crappy movies have you paid to go see in the movie theater that you paid 2 or 3 times that once you got through with popcorn and the ticket and, paying for your whole family to go? Where here you can spend $5 or $10, and yeah, maybe the game isn't your cup of tea, but you're only out $5 or $10. I've got plenty of digital games I bought on Xbox that I really detest that I didn't get any money back for, and it was $60.
Yeah, I was just thinking a little bit more about, you kept on talking about your Xbox library and stuff, and I was just thinking a little bit more about the current Xbox, actually the current console thing that's going on, and it really, really grinds my gears that they're doing this, because the Xbox Lockhart is all the proof anybody needs to know that next-gen titles will run on the Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they'll run on the Lockhart, which is a lesser console in every facet, every way, it is a lesser console. If they will run on it, it has the exact same operating architecture as the Xbox One X. So why is Microsoft and Sony sitting here and telling everybody you can't run next-gen games on your last-gen hardware? Yes, you can. They're the ones not letting you do it. And I guarantee you, at some point, mark my words, some point in the next 4 years, someone is going to hack the Xbox Series or the Xbox One X to play next-gen games. I guarantee you. Because it's
and
the
it
same
could be
thing.
you.
No, it will not be me. And even if it was, I would still be saying, no, it's not me. I am not taking that lawsuit. Thank you very much.
All right. Any parting shots?
I do have one other thing that I would like to see from Microsoft. They've gone. We talked about it last week, I think. the whole no, it was me and Mike that talked about it. Why Microsoft, releases almost all of its Xbox games onto PC as well. Well, I don't think they've gone far enough. I will be satisfied when Microsoft lets me play all the digitally owned games that I own for Xbox on PC. All the games that
That'd
I
be pretty cool.
bought, yeah, because I already know they're compatible. I know. Let me do it.
All right. Well, cool. What do you got? What do you got coming up on your channel this week?
Well, something this coming week, sometime in the next 7 days, not guaranteed to be this week, but sometime in the next 7 days, I will be replacing this.
What your background's messing with it a bit. What are we looking at?
Okay, so this is the back glass on my HTC U11, and I'm also going to be replacing the charging port at the same time. So,
Okay.
at some point this week, that'll be a video, and just because it's about this phone doesn't mean it's not applicable to every other phone out there, because almost every phone is built identically, like conceptually wise, is built identically to this thing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I just watched one of the channels I've been watching lately is Odd Tinkering. And he basically just like usually is restoring old electronics or like hardware stuff that he finds. And I recently watched him restore an iPhone 4S, and that was pretty cool. I've watched him restore like old consoles, Game Boys, PlayStation, original Nintendo, stuff like that. But watching the iPhone was a whole new ball game.
Oh yeah.
Going through restoring that, because it had the front screen was completely trashed and the back glass was broken too, so he had to do the whole thing. And it was really cool to like see just how intricate and delicate everything is in there and how tiny some of those components are. So super cool. I'm excited to see your video and kind of see what that process is like for you. So, and then coming up on my screen, or my screen, what is it? It's a channel.
Yeah,
it's on my channel.
Well, I mean, it's got a screen, right?
Well, hopefully all the viewers have their own screens. Yeah, coming up on my channel, I've got my new. This is kind of a preview. Hang on. This is my retro game treasure box for the month.
That's big.
It's bigger than typical because, as you remember, when I had my first retro game treasure, I ordered a Sega Genesis, and when it came out of the box, it was broken. The corner had taken probably a bad fall during shipment, and the corner was broken. So they sent me another one for free. And so during my unboxing video later this week, we'll check out a new Sega Genesis that they sent and see what condition it's in. So it took them a while because I specifically requested the like first version, the first edition that had, and this is the one that I got originally. So it has the where it says high definition graphics, and then the back has the EXT port. Because the reading that I had done on the console said that this was the version that had the best hardware, even though they made the 2 and the 3 even. So that's what I specifically requested, and it took them a little while to get another one in. Just for folks who are interested, this is the back corner that I repaired. You can probably tell, like, I just used like super glue and stuff.
It's not bad.
So probably not the best thing, but I stuck it back together, and ultimately it's free, so cool for me.
Nice.
Anyway, so then, upcoming, I have the new unboxing there, and probably do I need to do some gameplay, so I'm gonna get some gameplay out so I can force myself to play.
Do you know if that thing that I sent you is gonna get to you next week?
Oh, it will be here Friday.
Ooh,
so
cool.
I should be able to I'll do a video of opening that up, so I can surprise folks.
I was surprised I could find one.
Yeah, I was impressed. Like, and when you said you were going out retro, game shopping, and we're like, hey, what do you want me to pick up? I was like, I don't know. I could send you my wish list, but I just, threw out 2 titles and said, hey, if it's under this price, go ahead and grab one. And hey, there was one. So it's pretty cool. But I'll leave that mystery game out there. And, so sometime this weekend, it should be here. And maybe I'll pop up a video about that.
Yeah, as I was going out to those stores, like I told you, there were like 5 or 6 in a 5 mile radius of my house, right? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, there's 2. The other
Oh.
the other 3 don't exist anymore. So Google
Oh,
needs
man.
Google needs to get on their yeah. Because one of them was smack dab in the middle of a flea market and clearly did not exist anymore. And then
Maybe it was a table at the flea market.
I suppose, but like that's not what the pictures on Google said. And then the other 2 were in a mall and they were clearly gone. So,
Oh, bummer.
but I at least found the one good one that had what I sent you and also had the Highlanders figures that I bought the kiddo.
Oh, cool.
So, and the last thing before we go, does anybody know anything about the collectability of Digimon cards? Because I found mine from when I was a kid, and I need a consult because I'm huge into Digimon, or I used to be huge into Digimon, and I've got all of these cards, and I'd like to know if they are worth anything.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just just enough older that I never got into Digimon, never got into Pokemon. My game was Magic the Gathering, and so I still have all my Magic cards, which my wife also prefers to believe don't exist. But I have a giant duffel bag with thousands of cards. So still
Well,
have
see,
my decks, but they're all like 20 years old now.
is the room you do the stream in? Is it an office? Like, is it your office?
I have about 6 by 6 square feet in here. This is technically our second bedroom. No, our fourth bedroom. It's the guest bedroom. We have 2 kids, so they get their own rooms too. But this is our guest bedroom, and so there's a bed over there. There's a sewing machine over there. I have this little corner.
See, what you should do is you should find a non-destructive way to just line the wall behind you with them.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
that'd be too intense for me. I couldn't handle it.
it would be awesome. All right, guys. Well,
All
I
right.
think that we have gone severely off topic and we're over by about 11 minutes. So, thanks for joining. Make sure you go and subscribe over at Super Jeremy World over there. And if you like the video, please do that. And we will see you all next Tuesday, same time and probably the same place.
See you guys.